Welcome back, you guys. I am your host, Peaches, here on another episode of Peach Talk. I have with me today Miss Jasmine.
Hello. What's up, girl?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you?
Listen, blessed and highly favored and protected, so I'm great.
I know that's right. Well, I surely appreciate you joining me today and allowing me to interview you. So I always like to start off with letting people know a little bit about you. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Let people know where you're from, who you are, and what you got going on.
Well, my name is Jasmine Capri. I am the CEO and founder of jaismadiskin, and I am from Maryland, but I was actually born in Guam. So,
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, girl. So tell the people a little bit about your business. What do you have?
So, Jasmati Skin is a holistic, plant based, all natural skincare that targets giving the skin the nutrients and vitamins that it needs. It helps with minimizing pores, hyperpigmentation, and just honestly promoting glowing and healthy skin. It's my
Oh,
business.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I know sometimes we like I might have to go ahead and make my purchases because honey, stress be having me out
You
here.
good.
Go ahead and get my skin corrected, okay?
Nah, you
Um,
look great, girl.
well, thank you, thank you. So do
Well,
you.
thank
Um,
you.
so how long have you been doing your entrepreneurship journey?
Oh my gosh. I started my entrepreneurship journey in 2011 when I went to fashion school. I enrolled in fashion school.
Okay, okay. So what made you decide to that being an entrepreneur was the right choice for you?
Well, I have always liked the idea of working for myself. I've always been very headstrong, kind of had my own vision in life. But my mother is straight up an entrepreneur. Outside, when she finished her 20 years in the military, my mom was all about finding your purpose in life that God has for you and channeling that and, creating your own lane in this world and making money without exchanging your time for it. So,
Right.
it's and quite honestly, entrepreneurship is in my blood. My grandfather owned a hotel out in Florida. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to my other grandfather. He was an entrepreneur in Brooklyn. All my family are born and raised New Yorkers. And so he had like a little bodega corner store with candy and all type of stuff. So it's just all in my blood.
Oh, that's dope. That's awesome. So did you have any help along the way with your journey, or was it like a trial and error type of situation? What moments um did you have to get to where you are today?
Whew, girl, what moments did I have to get to where I'm at today? Yes, I did. God is so good. People in every year of my life, every turn that I got on, He's placed people in my life to help me, inspire me. Closed mouth don't get fed, or
No,
excuse
that's
me, does
right.
not get fed. So, there was a lot of networking too and conversing with people. But ultimately, yes, I had a lot of help. I mean, my mother's my biggest supporter. But even with help, you have to know, and what I had to learn was I had everything that I needed instilled in me. And so there was so much trial and error that I personally had to go through. I mean, I'm a natural creative in fashion and styling, right? But chemistry and mathematics just wasn't my thing. I mean, obviously, I like to count money and know how to count to 10.
I know that's right.
but I took on a whole new lane, and that had a lot of trial and error to it. But with my support system and constantly meeting the people that God had for me to help me along my journey, it's been a ride, but it's a very rewarding one. So yeah.
And I know recently I just saw that you had a billboard put up there.
Yeah,
So
shout out to Mike J. Billboard Connect with a K. Yes, that actually is my biggest form of advertising that I have invested into myself. Um, and thank God for him that he's even offering it sometimes on a promotional basis to give people an opportunity, because entrepreneurship is not free, it's not cheap. You don't become rich overnight. You know what I mean? And so it's amazing that God has placed people. I mean, I found him honestly through your page, and I ran. I think I was on the Explorer page or something, and I found yours, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she has a podcast." And then I saw your billboard, and then I saw his page, and that's how that happens. And there's the billboard, and here I am on your.
That's right. I am so proud of you. I'm so glad you were able to get that opportunity.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
because it's very important to get all of our businesses out there and, show people that what we can do. Um,
Absolutely.
and then you had a comment.
Oh.
So proud of her. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you, Russell. Yes, that's someone else that God put in my life. He actually has a coffee business as well. So, yes, just surrounded by great people who want nothing but the best of you is one of the ways to go.
That is dope. That is dope. So how does being an entrepreneur, how has it affected you and your family in a positive way?
Oh man, yeah, because again, the trials and tribulations, right? Gotta throw in that positive.
I know.
Um, I'm making my family very proud. I mean, I'm the only child on
Oh,
both sides. That's hard. Okay, for one. Um, 'cause
that is. 'Cause they look at you and you are the center of attention.
yeah, and to be honest, a lot of people think because I'm an only child, I like to be the center of attention, but I don't like a lot of attention. Um, but again, a lot of attention can be fun in a positive way. So, how did I impact my family? Man, they're just very proud of me. They're really proud of me. My family have worked very hard. My father was in the army. He's a manager and contracting, a foreman, not a foreman, excuse me. I can't keep up with their terminology and mine, but he's a manager in construction. And
Right.
my mother is an entrepreneur full time and therapist. And, so she's worked, and my parents have worked very hard to provide me a opportunity to pursue my dreams.
Mm,
So to have that passion, determination, and motivation to be able to fulfill that and to have them here and still be able to see it is very rewarding. They're just very proud, and I'm not even touching the tip of the iceberg of what's to come. So it's a little overwhelming, but it's awesome.
that's amazing. And that's like the best thing to have is your family to support you in everything that you do. So
Yeah,
look, kudos to your folks. So
thank you. And
um
I
go
was gonna say, you know, with this interview, I really wanted to keep my intention really serious about the intention that I wanted to convey to the listeners and people who watch this eventually, because I'm sure there are going to be other entrepreneurs. And I have my mother and I have my father. I have some friends, close friends, and things like that. But when it comes to family, my family's very estranged because I was a military brat. It was hard to have them around with everything. So, with them two being my biggest supporters, um, I want to encourage people who don't have a lot of supporters and family, but there are other people watching,
right,
you
right.
know, and so just keep going and know that there are going to be people on your journey to support you and be those representations for your family. If your aunt's not there, your cousin's not there, you don't have a brother or sister, you know what I mean? Those kind of things. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Somebody say yes. Okay, yeah. So just
Yes.
um so what has been some challenges you face getting your business off the ground?
Okay, well, I wrote a whole paragraph for that. Hold on. Some challenges, man. Okay, I would be so transparent, girl. Trial and error with my product,
Mm,
because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Perfectionist. I'm serious when it comes to the quality of the product that I'm putting out there. I play no games from fashion to skincare to styling to anything that I do. And so I had to get around that
mhm,
because I, at sometimes, got in my own way,
mm,
and a part of being on an entrepreneurship journey is putting stuff out there to get your reviews and to to hear what people like. Like some people might like the fact that the butter moisturizer is condensed. Some, so between the trial and error of the product consistency, that was hard. And I actually, excuse me, I put my product out. I want to say a little early than I probably should have. A lot of people go through testing and testing and testing and testing. And because I was using natural ingredients and it was simplified, I didn't really think I needed that much testing. But because I didn't, I kind of took some hits to that.
Mm.
I had to learn about importing overseas because my jars came from China. I had to learn about taxes and girl sales tax annually, quarterly. I mean, stuff I had no idea about. Chemically, conversions, and it was so much that I had as far as trial and error. My labels, oh, girl. So, but it is a part of the process and it's a journey, it's not a destination. And
I
so
know
that
that's
is what I learned with all that trial and error.
So what were some of the ways you were able to overcome those challenges? Like when it came to the export, import,
Yeah,
and things like that?
truly, when it came to overseas, that was just something that I had to kind of go through the fire with. You know,
Mhm.
I went through a situation where I was asking the gentleman some questions like, okay, well, what is this tax? And do I need to pay for this? And he was like, girl, holla at me when you know what you're doing. Cause I don't have time to answer all these questions. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, you know, but
It's the only way to learn.
yeah. But you know what? God is so good because literally once I went through that fire, because he blocked me. I didn't even get to write nothing back. He just straight up exited me out. But the next people I found, they went above and beyond for me. They answered every single last question. And not only that, they actually sent me a paper clipping from China, an authentic paper clipping, just to show me how appreciative they was of my kindness. So,
Awesome.
um, between that and Google, sure,
Google is your friend.
Google is my baby.
Um,
Yeah.
so you said you've been in on this journey since 2011, and
Mhm.
with the pandemic hitting everybody, how did the pandemic affect you, or your business in any way? And how were you able to overcome some of those pitfalls?
You know, COVID was kind of fun because I like to be locked in the house sometimes. I like to lay up on love and just lay up, So it gave me a time to do what I like to do. But
Mhm.
because I started my business right, so I moved to Dallas in 2020 and I actually had an assistant management position in fashion because that was still where I was at.
Mhm.
When everything hit, I have asthma. At the time, it was a little bit more reactive, so I couldn't put myself in line of fire like that. So I had to relieve the job, which I was really brokenhearted about. Because when you work hard in retail, you finally get your keys. That's like getting the keys to the city almost. That's an accomplishment. So I was really heartbroken by that, and I went through some timing, and I ended up getting into my skincare line.
Okay.
But because it was right after COVID, people were experiencing financial hardship or they had just got done being relieved from financial hardship. So most
Right.
people, they didn't care about soap, scrub, moisturizer. Like they like, girl, I got what I got in my house and I'm about to, I need to get this back up. So that was kind of hard. I don't think people was really in the mode once the free money kind of ran out, and it was back to business, it was a little tough. And then there were a lot of changes that had taken place in marketing and the market in general. So that I had to kind of work around. And then prices were changing. And at that time, I refused to change my prices. I
Oh, yeah.
wanted people
Right.
to afford it.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
And
yeah,
that's important too, because a lot of times, unfortunate government and big businesses will try to take advantage of people's hardships. So that's awesome that you maintained your
yeah.
pricing and allow people the opportunity to purchase from you.
Thank you.
So how do you create um health time, to have a healthy
Yeah.
personal life?
Well, I came from waitressing, so at the time, at the time, I'm kind of used to whatever I do. I like it to work around my life. Like
Mm,
I don't like to get a job where it's like, let's say I like to eat cereal. And if this job I have says, well, you can't eat cereal, and I'm like, well, I eat cereal. I don't put myself in a line of work that doesn't align with my lifestyle.
okay.
Um, because that causes uncomfortability, it causes stress, anxiety.
Right.
So I manage because I'm an entrepreneur. I try to manage my time around myself, but because I am a perfectionist and like I enjoy doing what I do.
Mm,
I love my skincare. So I'm obsessed with it sometimes. I'm over here making new soap and trying this and doing this, but I have to remind myself, just like us as people, you might love your husband, you might love your wife, but they still need space too.
right,
So
right.
I couldn't suffocate my product because what happens is you might end up messing it up
True. Very
you
true.
know um so just realizing that I needed to find a healthy balance for not only my product but my health as well. That's just, it's just mandatory.
I know
Just
that's right. Yeah, it's always important to take time away. I know sometimes you can actually be so inundated with something and, get frustrated and you're like, "Oh my God, like how can I figure this out?" Like, and
mhm,
sometimes you have to take a step away from something in order to
absolutely.
come back with a better solution. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it is always important to have a good personal life, and a healthy balance between business
yeah.
and self-care.
And I'm gonna say this because you actually brought up a really good point. You know, what I realized, there was some things that I sat down and I left and I came back to it. And when I came back to it, I realized it was just fine. I
Right.
didn't even have to continue to do anything. And
Mm,
that's another beautiful thing about space. It allows you to be able to see what you've done without being so up close on it. Because when you up close, you just find anything. And really, when you take a step back and give it some space, you're like, oh, I don't even need to be fixed. That's fine.
right.
So
Mm, exactly. So,
yeah.
what is some advice that you can give to future entrepreneurs also pursuing your line of business?
My number one advice is going to have to be believe in yourself. If you leave your confidence, your security, your belief in other people's hands,
Mm,
you messed up.
yeah.
You messed up right there. Your number one driving source is going to be the belief that you have in yourself, because there have been times where people didn't repost, people didn't like. My Instagram at one point had 0 followers. All 700 was built by myself. Genuine. That takes time. So give yourself time. Um, give yourself room and space to mess up and
Right.
come back and fix it, because messing up is a part of the process. You can't, I found myself, I would get frustrated sometimes, but you just have to enjoy the journey. And depending on your line of faith, believe on your faith. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. And that is my backbone. That I have, I hold on to that faith of a mustard seed. Because if I don't, life has me like this.
Yeah.
Life has me like that. And when you run in a business, your business is gonna have you like this. So you
Right.
have to stay anchored in something.
Right.
Oh,
That's great advice.
can't
Um,
stand this nothing. No, go ahead.
so what are some things that you enjoy doing outside of your business?
Look, I forgot something. Take a business 101 entrepreneurship class. Definitely got to take a business 101 class, man. You got to know what you're doing mathematically, financially. Do not mess up your money. Don't mess
Oh,
up
that part.
the state taxes money. Don't mess up like that. Know what you're getting yourself into. That's it.
Right.
What was that question? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay. No, I was just saying, what are some things that you enjoy doing outside of your business?
I love plants. So I have a green thumb. And that is my thing. When I was in Dallas, that was my secluded time. I had to really, and I entered my 30s. And that was difficult. 30s is something else. You becoming a different person.
Mhm.
And so I found my love in plants, vinyls. I created a dope vinyl collection. So I love going to the vinyl shop, and I'm very spiritual. That's another thing with my business is tapped into holistic healthcare, mindfulness. So I love sound bowls, meditating. I'm getting into that, and crystal shops. So it's just where I find my peace. It's where I find my peace, my plants and my vinyls and my crystals and
That's what's up. That's what's up.
popping when I got it like that.
Do you think that you've mastered your craft in each of your businesses, or do you think that there's room for growth or improvement?
Always room for growth and improvements. Even with fashion, like I had took a pause on fashion. I was telling you when the whole COVID situation, it took me into a whole nother field. I was scary about that because I was like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm just um abandoning shit.
Right.
But on that journey, I had to realize it's funny because I want a lifestyle brand. I want plants being sold. I want skincare. I want perfume, bedding, clothes, menswear, children's wear. I want all that. So, but in order to have all that, you have to take time in each department. So, no, I'm not done at all. I love acting. I'm in acting classes. I just went for my first one of the leading role auditions. And so I'm ever evolving. My brand is ever evolving. Like I don't even see where I'm going. I just not to say I don't see where I'm going. Like I know where I'm going, but it's hard to see in front of you. It's easier to see behind you.
Mhm.
So when I look in front of me, I just have my goals in lines, and yeah, I just stay determined. There's always more to learn. There's always books being written. There's always more that you can do in your career. Writing a book is on my thing to do list.
That's what's
Um, no, it's always more to be done. I have not mastered it.
And it's perfect that you say that because I heard someone say, and I can't remember where it came from, but they said, "Why do you think in a car that the windshield is so big and the rearview mirror is so small?" It's
Woo!
because the rearview mirror is only so that you can take a glance at where you've been. The windshield is so that you can clearly see where you're going. So,
That, that's wild. Like
right,
what? Who came
right,
up with
right.
that analogy, man?
I just thought that was the dopest thing ever, and I said from
No,
that point forward, that's how I navigate
that's
life.
right.
Take a glance at where I've been because sometimes you can also be so stuck in the now that you're like, "Dang, I'm not where I want to be. I need to be further." And then it's like, take a glance at where you was 2
I'm
days
guilty of
ago.
it.
I mean,
I'm
even
guilty.
just 2 seconds ago, you're not the same person. So a lot of times we have to, be cognizant about that and sit in that and say, you know what, I may not be where I want to be right now.
That's
The
right.
future is in front of me,
That's
but
right.
I am definitely better than where I used to be.
And when you think about it, when you take steps forward, you're not going backwards. You're
Right.
going forward. So
Mhm.
the time, and I'm guilty of it. Like I don't have no siblings. I'm not married yet. So a lot of times I tend to look back and I'm like, dang, what happened? Like, why, when I was younger, I was always looking back. Why my family? Why people? Why did this happen to me? But the time that you spend on that, it doesn't get you anywhere going forward. You
Right.
know what I mean? And so when you're on that journey, you can't let anything distract you and have you anything that comes from a deficit mindset.
Mhm.
You got to get rid of it. You
Yep.
just got to get rid of it.
Yep. So how do you stay motivated? Because I know with entrepreneurship, a lot of times we can kind of get discouraged. Trust me, I've had my moments. But I
Yeah,
will say, like, most of the time, the people around me, like you said, I've had opportunities and, things that, okay, maybe I'm on the right path. And, so
right.
what are some things that you do to stay motivated?
Hmm. I think about all the people who are struggling with hyperpigmentation. Let me say something. The difference between how I was as an entrepreneur and a CEO with Jasmati, my fashion line, and how I am as a CEO with Jasmati Skin and my skincare line, two different. One's completely more motivated. Not to say I wasn't motivated with fashion, but I have a purpose with this one. When I was younger, my skin wasn't horrible. It wasn't even bad. And I don't even like that terminology, but we look at things like good and bad. So
Right.
my skin, I didn't struggle with a lot. But there were times where, when I was younger, I would pick, and
Mhm.
there's so many people who pick. And it's funny. I'm going to talk about it right here. It's so many people who pick their skin.
Yeah.
So many people who have anxiety, whether it's the popping form or the actual picking form. And it happens. And a lot of times it starts when you're younger
Mhm.
because you don't know how to channel through your anxiety or you don't know how to channel through your heartbreak. You understand what I'm saying? And I went through a lot of pain growing up, a
Mhm.
lot of pain. Um, I was in middle school. I was 12 years old. I was in Maryland. And this guy wrote Scabby across my yearbook picture, my yearbook.
Right.
I'm 31. I still think about it. I be like, my picture is my
Right.
book.
Yeah, I
Write
know
it in
that's
your
right.
book, not mine. Right?
Right.
But I'm gonna use it as a book cover. And every time I get demotivated, every time I think, dang, I don't know if this is working, or I don't know, the I don't know factors. I think about all those people who don't have their voice yet, who
Mhm.
don't know how to admit their problem or don't know how to admit their struggles that's causing them to have skin complications.
Mhm.
And that's my motivation. My motivation is the education of healthy skin and channeling through your emotions and anxiety and loving yourself.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that is what it boils down to. You have to love yourself more than you love others, and you will take better care of yourself. And that's my motivation, getting that word out, because every ounce of pain that I went through and every scar that I had on my face, every hyperpigmented mark that I had on my face, it was able to go away. I'm still struggling with like one more, but it's my story
Right.
and that fades. But the lesson and the teaching that I have to give is going to last forever.
That
And
is
that's my motivation.
that's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's up, girl. So what are some services outside of your business do you offer? Do you offer any other services or have any service?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
I am licensed as an esthetician, but I'm very focused right now on getting my skincare into different stores and things like that. So at some point, I will go back to offering, my esthetician services. But aside from my Manuka honey coffee bean and goat milk soap, the butter scrub exfoliating polisher, the butter moisturizer, and the revival face serum, I have my fashion line. And so this winter I actually am going to be re-releasing some fur shawls, and that is
Well,
faux fur shawls because I love my animals. So yeah, I'll be coming out with some stuff. I'm definitely gonna be dabbing back into fashion soon. So those will be some of the services I offer.
that is what's up. So, of course, we're coming to the closing of everything, but I do want you to tell people where they can find you as far as your IG, your Facebook, and any other. And just for those who are listening, we will have everything in the description as far as websites, email, and business contact information. So, make sure that you go and take a glimpse at a store. I mean, it takes nothing to click and,
That's
view her
right.
products, and then you may actually find something that you like. So please tell the people where they can
Right.
reach you.
And before I give the handles, I'm also going to encourage people. I do full disclosure. I live off transparency and honesty. I don't play about that. So if you go on my website, which I'm going to give you the information for, you can always go to item details on each item, and I list all the ingredients I put in. It's not one thing that I don't have in that's not listed that's in there. So and I encourage people, go look up each ingredient. What does rosehip oil do for your skin? What does black seed oil do? Because what you end up realizing is a lot of those essential oils that I use are good for your body. They're good for your spirit. They're great for your mind. You know what I mean? So not only does it holistically help with your skin, but it holistically helps with your energy. And that's what Samadhi is all about. But you can Google Jaismadi, Jaismadi, and it pops up everything under Jaismadi: Etsy, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. My Instagram is jaismadiskin. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm on Etsy, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I think that's it.
No.
But I do want to say one more thing before it ends. Um, Philippians 1:6 says, "He who's begun a good work in you will continue to perfect and complete it." And a lot of times when you create your own business, you got to have faith in something other than yourself, because it takes more than just you. And if God has placed something on your heart to do, I don't care how long it takes for a like, how long it takes for a purchase. Because at one point I was like, dang, I didn't get five orders this week and da 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 da. And you know what? I got over 36 5-star reviews. My whole thing is 5-star. I have more returning customers than I have new. Doesn't negate I have new customers, but I do have more returning. So if you focus on what you're getting and who you have, God will multiply it. You just gotta stick to your plan and stay focused. And like you said, stop looking in that rearview mirror because it's small. It's shit.
Oh, that's right.
If you look forward, you got the whole world, baby. You
I'm
know what I'm
telling
saying?
you. Well,
So,
Jasmine, I will say this. It was a pleasure interviewing you
aw,
today. You were
thank
an absolute awesome guest here on the show. And I hope that we will
you.
actually have you returning on some other segments here in the future. So um,
Bet that.
I know that's right. But thank you guys all for your
Thank
views and your
you.
comments. We really appreciate it. And
Yes.
again, the information will be in the description. So please feel free to visit Jasmine's site and make y'all purchases, y'all. We always want to encourage each other and share amongst each other our products. So uh,
Thank you so much, Peaches. I really appreciate you and what you're doing for our community and for entrepreneurs. It means a lot. So, cheers to you, cheers to me, and cheers to all of us, and cheers to new beginnings and success. And thank you so much.
no problem. And of course, as always, you guys stay sweet.
Yes.